Hi everyone, this is Brendan from LimLedger. If you've ever had a client ask, what exactly did you do today? Where did those hours go? Or can you prove that the work actually happened? Then you already know the biggest challenge in remote work. It's not doing the work, it's proving the work clearly and confidently. So in this video, we're going to show you step by step how to use Time Doctor to create real proof of work that clients can trust. This would be especially useful for agencies managing multiple clients and projects, or freelancers billing hourly, or remote teams who need transparency, and even anyone who struggles to show daily progress without endless status calls. If you have ever had to justify hours manually, this process will save you a huge amount of time. Let's start with Time Doctor. We'll log in, and then we get the dashboard. So the main workspace is quite simple. What you have, if you've got timer panels where you can choose a task or project, a list of tracked time entries, reports and analytics on the side menu. And the key thing to understand is that Time Doctor works around active time tracking. It records work as it happens rather than after the fact. This is what creates trust. So you can always start by looking at the real client task, for example, writing a blog post, designing a landing page, fixing bugs, or researching work. After selecting the project or task name, you'll simply click Start. And from this point, Time Doctor begins recording activity automatically. It'll show you the time tracked and break it down for you. So while working, what it actually monitors is the time spent on keyboard and mouse activity, which applications are being used, and which websites are open. So instead of manually logging time later, everything is captured in real time, even your unproductive hours. So let's look at a very important part, proof. Time Doctor creates multiple layers of proof automatically. It looks at activity levels, top projects, latest data from different team members. What this does is it shows you actively what you were working on during the track time. It measures keyboard and mouse usage to indicate real engagement. Also, in your reports, you get screenshots. Time Doctor periodically captures screen images so that clients can see exactly what work was being done as it's being done. And then also you've got the usage logs. It records which apps and websites were being opened during which hours, by whom, and this helps verify that time was spent on relevant tasks. Then also it gives you a timeline history. You can see complete chronological record of all your work sessions. So instead of saying to your client, trust me, you can show real objective evidence. This is the screenshots. All right, so turning this into something that you can send your client, that is the reports that we mentioned. For this, you go to the reports section. And this is where Time Doctor lets you generate reports with information such as time tracked by project, daily or weekly summaries, activity reports, and screenshot logs. You can export these as a report and share them with clients directly. And this is where most freelancers stop. They send a report showing the hours worked, the tasks tracked, and activity levels. And this already builds a strong foundation of trust. However, there's one common friction point. Time Doctor shows data extremely well, but it does not naturally show the story behind the work. Clients can see screenshots and numbers, but they often still ask, what was achieved? What progress was made? Or even what outcome did those hours produce? So while the proof exists, the narrative context often still requires manual explanation. For context, this is how we do this in LimLedger, which is the tool we use ourselves. With LimLedger, the goal is to reduce the back and forth entirely. Instead of just showing time and time sheets and time spent in screenshots, LimLedger connects work directly to deliverables. What it shows you is stuff like what task was completed, what output was produced, and what changed between work sessions. It can also show you what proof links support the actual work. So clients do not just see the time that was spent, they actually see the results of the work. And this removes most of the typical clarification messages, like, can you explain what was done today? What progress was made? Or can you summarize this week's work? Everything is already structured for them to see. So Time Doctor is a powerful tool for tracking time and building transparency. If your goal is to prove activity, monitor productivity, and generate reliable reports, it does that extremely well. But if your goal is to prove outcomes and reduce client communication overhead, that is where the proof of work system becomes more useful. If you want to see this approach in full, LimLedger is linked below.